Welcome to Concrete Block, your go-to source for in-depth analysis and unbiased discussion of current events. I'm your host, Walter Dorty. Today we're diving into the latest developments in the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine. As we've been following closely, the situation remains tense, with both sides engaged in a war of words and actions. Recently, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky accused Russia of violating a proposed Easter truce, just hours after it was meant to take effect. This comes as no surprise, given the complex history and deep-seated tensions between the two nations. In a significant move, the leaders of Ukraine, Britain, France, Germany, and Poland gathered in Kyiv over the weekend to issue an ultimatum to Russia, agree to a 30-day ceasefire or face fresh sanctions and increased military support for Ukraine. This united front from Western powers sends a strong message to Moscow, emphasizing their commitment to supporting Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity. However, Russian President Vladimir Putin has now proposed direct talks with Ukraine, scheduled to take place in Istanbul on May 15th. Putin's counterproposal emphasizes the need to address the root causes of the conflict, which Russia claims include protecting Russian speakers in eastern Ukraine and pushing back against NATO expansion. While these concerns have been consistently rejected by Kyiv and the West as unjustified pretexts for aggression, it remains to be seen how these talks will unfold. It's essential to approach this development with a critical eye, recognizing that both sides have competing narratives and interests at play. As we navigate this complex geopolitical landscape, it's crucial to separate fact from rhetoric and consider multiple perspectives. As the situation continues to evolve, one thing is clear: the fate of Ukraine and the stability of the region hang in the balance. With so much at stake, it's more important than ever to stay informed and engage in nuanced discussions about the issues that matter most. We'll be right back with more of today's top news on Concrete Block. Welcome back to Concrete Block. We're glad you're still with us as we dive into our middle segment. Today, we're discussing a somber note in the business world as David Stee announces the passing of its founder, Herschel Siegel. Mr. Siegel was a pioneering Canadian entrepreneur who left an indelible mark on the retail landscape. Not only did he found Le Chateau, a fashion retailer that became synonymous with Canadian shopping culture, but he also co-founded David Stee, revolutionizing the specialty tea category with a modern and bold approach. Under his vision, David Stee introduced a new generation to the world of tea, emphasizing accessibility, innovation, and community. As news of his passing spreads, tributes are pouring in from across the business community, remembering Mr. Siegel for his leadership, determination, and unwavering commitment to customer connection. His legacy extends beyond the companies he built, inspiring countless individuals who had the privilege of working with him or being touched by his entrepreneurial spirit. David Stee's board of directors, management, and employees have expressed their heartfelt condolences to the Siegel family, particularly Jane Silverstone, Siegel, chair of the board, and Sarah Siegel, chief executive officer. The company has assured that Mr. Siegel's investment vehicle, Rainy Day Investments, will remain a long-term shareholder, underscoring the family's continued support for the brand. As we reflect on Herschel Siegel's remarkable life and achievements, it's clear that his impact on Canadian business and culture will be deeply felt for years to come. We take a moment to acknowledge his contributions and express our sympathies to those who knew him. And now, as we move forward in today's episode, we'll shift gears to explore another fascinating story. Stay tuned for our final story of the day, right here on Concrete Block. Welcome back to Concrete Block. I'm your host, Walter. We've got a lot to unpack in our final segment today, so let's dive right in. We're looking at a couple of stories that have been making waves globally, and we'll try to break them down for you in a fair and balanced way. First off, we have the situation in South Korea, where the Conservative Party has been struggling to find unity ahead of the presidential election. They've had a bit of a roller coaster ride, with their nominee Kim Moon-soo being dropped and then reinstated just hours later. It's clear that the party is trying to find a way to challenge the liberal frontrunner Lee Jae-myung, but it's been a tough road so far. On the other hand, we have the story of India and Pakistan reaching a US-backed truce, although clashes have erupted anew. This is a complex and sensitive issue, and it's great to see that outside mediation is being considered as a way to ease tensions between the two countries. We also want to touch on the trade talks between the US and China, which have just concluded their first day. It's too early to say what the outcome will be, but it's clear that both countries are looking for ways to de-escalate the trade war and find some common ground. Now, we know that these stories can be complex and nuanced, and we want to encourage our listeners to do their own research and stay informed. We'll be keeping an eye on these developments and bringing you updates as more information becomes available. That's all for today's Concrete Block. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, stay informed.